Your greatest success, what generated it at its core? What generated it? How many would say that a major part of what you got from that experience was you succeeded because you figured something out you hadn't known before? You had a breakthrough in your understanding or your awareness. Maybe something you even screwed up before, you learned from it, and that's why you succeeded. How many can relate to that in some way? If you can get that, then there are no failures if we can really learn from it. And that's not to be corny. That means it is our mission as a leader to extract value out of every problem. That every problem truly becomes a gift. Because if you don't do that, here's what happens. You start wishing for less problems. And by the way, how well does that work? In fact, think about this. What is the purpose of an enterprise? What's the purpose of a business, of a company? What are we here to do? What are we here to generate? Well, some people say, well, it's to meet my needs. If the business just meets your needs, you're gonna have a job. If it's really a successful business, in its essence, what it's all about is how do we add more value to other people's lives than they've never received before? How do you add more value than they've ever received before from anyone else? The person who can add the most value, now when I say add most value, not your idea of added value, whose idea of added value? You might say, but we're doing all these things. If the customer doesn't care, it's not added value. It's not added value because you think it's so, I think it's so, our employees think it's so, it's added value because the customer thinks it's so. So our job is to add value. And ideally what a business does is it gives us an ability to engender some values. The best companies engender some value. They do something for the world. They get people to think a different way. They shift people. And the third thing a business does also gives you a chance, obviously, for profit. But without the added value, without a shift in the quality of people's lives, that's not gonna happen. So, the question then really becomes, how do we add extraordinary value to people's lives? How does this occur? How do you take a business to that level? There's only one force, and it's the force we've been talking about here, leadership. Leaders make decisions, and from those decisions, they either add value or they take it away. In essence, what does a great leader do? Think about it. If a leader adds value, if their job is to add value, to get us as an organization to add more value, to engender values. If they're a great leader, they add value and they also create a profit, because you can add a lot of value to your customers and go broke.